I have 114 blanks ready now. I'm using 1/8 inch walnut plywood that I got from a place that sells to laser companies, which is a great resource if you needed to find thin material. I went for plywood because I figured it'd be more steady than the MDF core, since this is going to be in a restaurant brewery, so I read a lot of liquids. MDF and liquids don't mix very well. This should last pretty good though. And 4x8 sheets probably would have been better, but I don't think there's anywhere around me I can get 1/8 inch 4x8 sheets that's walnut clad, and I wanted to do walnut on this. So, yep, time to start cleaning up all the edges, and yeah. Off camera, cameraman Robbie has sanded all the edges of these. Feels super nice. So next steps, we need to get some finish on these before the leather goes on, but you can start prepping the leather. I've got a whole cattle side here, so we're gonna start cutting these into the triangles. I think the efficient way to go about this will be to cut strips to width, 4 inches wide, then we'll cut those strips into squares that are 4x4, and then we can split those squares into the triangles we need. Actually, they need to be a little bit longer because I think this edge comes up, it's not a total triangle. I should check my model first. Don't trust any dimensions. I'm gonna go check them, but yeah, that's the idea. Strips, then rectangles, then split the rectangles into equal triangles, then branding, and I don't know, there's a lot more, you'll see. Kind of like when I did the flight boxes, this project is going to be very much about proper sequence. So I'm trying to hit the road tomorrow night actually to deliver these. So I realized that the next thing I need to do is get the stain on it so it has plenty of time to dry. I'm using Amber Halcyon again, my go-to. Love this stuff because it's water-based, which also means it dries quickly, which is really gonna help me. I'm gonna lay them out outside, do one side at a time, flip them over, then do the other side because I don't really have a good way otherwise to like rack these. If I'd been thinking ahead, maybe I would have came up with something. But anyway, doing it in here, the clip, just because it's so bright. So set up time lapse and I'm gonna get on this. All the wood is stained. I've got all my rectangles cut. These still need to be cut to triangles, but I realized it'd probably be easier to drill the holes while it's still rectangle, just less material handling. And I've got my jig made up. My jig was a little too tall for the drill bit to reach, so I just added another spacer here. But the idea is I took a scrap and I drilled the holes where they need to be in the wood, on just the wood. And then I took a scrap of leather, you know, marked it out. And I actually used this leather to mark these holes. And then I glued it in the corner here so I can use this side to drill holes in leather. And then I'll use this as a guide to drill holes in the wood. So I can just put a stack of leather or stack of wood in here, make sure it's tight against the corner. Squish it down. We'll go over to the drill press and make sure that I'm not about to ruin a bunch of work. The leather works great, just got to cut them into triangles, which I'm glad I thought of doing it as a rectangle, because if it was a triangle under this piece, it'd be like super tippy, so that's better. Now I've loaded it with a stack of wood. I'm going to turn it, you know, for the leather, drill through the leather, for the wood, drill through the wood, and should work just as well. And this is going to speed things up so much because I'm able to cut, I don't know, like 8 pieces or so instead of 1 at a time, since I got to do 5 holes in each. You know, I'm looking at drilling 200-ish holes or operations instead of like 2,000. So. Outside, because we got the benches getting sprayed inside. Next up is getting all these branded, then we can rivet them on. Now, leather tends to brand better if you get it wet, so I've got a little bucket of water, just give it a quick dip. And also the rivets are just a touch bigger than our holes, so that's gonna soften it up some so it rivets better. These are already sealed, they'll have a little moisture against them for a little bit, but these should dry pretty quick. Anyway, time to brand 100 of these. And I have a lot of extra because in my experience, I tend to have quite a few bad brands, so should be able to pick out all the good ones that I need, but hopefully this goes better than last time. And for the brand, normally I buy them from Gearhart Industries. It's a great place to buy brands, but since I got CNCs now, I just CNC'd my own out of some aluminum. Well, that wraps this one up. I ended up with about 104, only need 100. Wanted some extra, but we ran out of the rivets. I'd ordered extra, but I guess it was just one more pack. I wasn't planning on having as many extra pieces as I generated. That's fine. The rivets, so I can't just run down and grab some more to finish it up because those are special order. They got 12 gauge on it, which is a cool touch and something I really recommend if you do client work. The client these are going to really cares that he communicates to his clientele that he understands the history and is embracing the local culture and everything. This brew pub is going in Peter's Cartridge factory, which everyone there knows made shot shells. They got a giant shot tower where that used to be made, and the 22 ammo that Annie Oakley liked to shoot. So having these little rivets that have 12 gauge on it in a factory known for making shot shells kind of communicates to the people that are local, that are in the know, that he knows and understands the roots there and is trying to honor it. So that's a little tip if you do client work. Try to understand what's important to your clients and then do the homework you need to do to deliver that. Anyway, I hope you were inspired, learned something, or at least entertained. If you feel like I've earned it, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And until next time, make time to make something.